These are 5 money saving tips that have made a big difference in my life. And be sure to stay to the end, because who knows, maybe there'll be 2 bonus tips at the end that are the most important of the entire video. Okay, let's go for a walk and talk about this. I think the very first thing for saving money is you have to have a goal, right? I mean, it's almost like going on a trip, but you don't know where you're going, right? I mean, that can be fun, and I have done that. But when it comes to your finances, for the most part, 90% of your life, I think you should have a goal and you should know what you're saving towards, whether that's, paying down your student debt as soon as you can, or saving for your first house, or saving X dollars per year. So the first thing to know is what's your goal? What are you trying to achieve? And I would encourage you to break it down into smaller goals, because we all like to succeed. We all like to check things off of our to-do list. So let's say your goal, somebody's got a big, hairy, audacious goal, right? They want to they want to have $2 million by the time they retire, and maybe they're 30. Well, boy, that can be a 20-year journey, at least for most of us. So maybe break that down and say, this year I want to save X dollars, and this year, I want to work with a fee-only financial advisor and come up with a long-term investment strategy that makes sense for me. So the first one is to have a goal and to really think through what's realistic, how big of a stretch is it, and then break it down into sub-goals, little steps that you're likely to achieve, so you can get that good feeling that comes in. And success breeds success. When you get some of your goals achieved, I think you're much more likely to achieve later goals. So start off small, start off with baby steps and go from there. Okay, the next one, now that we have a goal, is how do you want to track your progress against that goal? And I think high level, there's really 2 approaches. The first one is what we all think about, which is having a bottom-up approach and really budgeting. How much am I going to be spending for my needs, right? My shelter, my food, transportation, stuff like that. And really, it's a bottom-up approach. And I think if you haven't started yet, that the bottom-up approach is what works for most people. Now, if you've been budgeting for a while, like I don't like budgeting. When I'm trying to lose a few pounds, I don't like counting my calories. Instead, I think high level about, am I eating in a healthy way? Am I not overeating? Is my portion size correct? And then high level, if I get those things right, then everything else is going to take care of itself. And I think about the same thing for my budget, which is high level. How much am I trying to save a month, a quarter, a year? And then as long as I reach those goals, then I don't need to track. But I think when we're starting off, if you're not reaching your goals now, it can be helpful to start bottom up and just budgeting how much money are you going to spend in each category. Almost like, I don't do it often, but 2 or 3 times a year, I'll kind of track my calories just to get a sense of, what does 2,000 calories a day look like? What is 2,500 calories? What does 3,500 calories look like? And it's a good occasional reminder, but I don't like the detail. But I think you have to start with the detail, and then you graduate up into being able to do the high level approach. So that's the next step. And then now that we've got the budget, then I would suggest this step 3 is breaking your budget into needs, wants, and then kind of super wants, nice to haves, for lack of a better term. So your needs, again, is going to be your lodging, is going to be your food, it's going to be your transportation, things like that. And your wants might be, I want to go on vacation with my family. And I think having that quality time with your family is really important. So I almost put that into a need, but truthfully, it's a want. And then just think about how much do you want to budget for that. So separating out your needs, your wants from your super wants. Super wants might be, taking your grandkids on a Disney cruise. It'd be really, really nice to make that happen. It can be expensive. So it's a super want. It would be really nice to make that happen, but not necessarily something that you have to do. And when it comes to wants, I think there's a system called the envelope system. And I'm old enough that the envelope system was literally where my mother used to use this when I was younger. She would literally put money into an envelope. This is the money for our utility bill, and this is the money the kids are starting school at the end of the summer. So, we're going to need to buy new clothes for them. So, there was an envelope for the kids, and then there were sub envelopes. I've got a brother and a sister. So we each had our own envelope. So that envelope system, and for some people, it still makes sense to have a physical envelope. I meet people all the time that still use physical envelopes. But I also know people that use a digital version of that. So to find out more about that, just Google the envelope system in saving. But it can be a really powerful tool. Okay, let's keep going. Number 4, and regular viewers of my channel know that I talk about this often. I think it's the least sacrificial way in order to save meaningful amounts of money. And those of you that are watching that have seen, a dozen of my videos know what I'm going to say. And it's driving a used car instead of a new car. A lot of people get a lot of joy from driving a new car. If that's you, if that's intentionality, then that would be in the want category sooner rather than later, right? But for somebody like me, where it really doesn't make a difference if I drive a 5-year-old car versus a new car. So to me, that would be like a super want. I'm turning 59 here in a couple weeks, and I've never bought a new car, but I promise I will at some point. And some people are probably disappointed in that. But I think, the reality, I'm fortunate. I can afford to buy a new car. So I think at some point, I'll probably buy a new car. It'll probably be an electric car. Okay, let's keep going. This is a big one. And that is, we get all these emails that have, 30% off sales, 50% off sales. And they put stuff in front of us that maybe we didn't even know that we wanted. And at least for me, half the time when I buy something, because it's like, oh, that's a good deal, I regret buying it. So here's an idea. Instead of doing that, here's what I'd suggest is have a list of the things that you want, right? Keep a list of it. And there tends to be 2 really big sales periods in a year, right? Of course, one is Black Friday, where it seems like everything's on sale. And then Amazon, I have too many cardboard boxes like a lot of you do showing up at my house. But Amazon has Prime Day. So I actually keep a list of the things. Frankly, I keep it on Amazon. These are the things I'd really like to have, but I don't currently have. And, if they go on sale for 50% or 80% off, I'm going to jump on that, which is different than having an email come to you and say, here's something that's on sale. You should want that. I want something to be on your want list that later comes on sale. So that's another tip. Okay. I shared that there might be a couple bonuses. Let me give you the first bonus here. And that is, I call it the 3 I's. I think it's important to comparison shop. And the 3 I's are things that most of us can save money on if we comparison shop. And that is internet, the internet service that we get. It's our insurance for our car, insurance for our home. And the third one is interest. I was looking for another I, but interest is the interest rate that we pay on our credit cards and the fees that we pay for our credit cards. So that's another one. And then a huge one that not enough of us think about regularly is our health, right? Just staying healthy, investing in our health. It's one of those things like some of these government programs where for every dollar that the U.S. government pays for things like early childhood development. I don't know what the numbers are, but it's something crazy. Like the U.S. government gets $10 back for every dollar that it puts into pre-K education for families that otherwise couldn't afford it. And full disclosure, I was one of those kids. My pre-K schooling was Big Bird. So, PBS and Sesame Street was my version of pre-K. And you know what? I'm glad that was around. And so it's the same thing here. Your health, I think you get back $10 for every dollar that you put in. So watch your health. The other thing I want you to watch is this video up here that talks about the average income in retirement for retirees, and this video down here that talks about 5 reasons to retire as soon as you can. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.